Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, this massive bullish reversal signal is flashing on the Bitcoin chart, while the price of Bitcoin is still forming this short-term pattern. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which is still running into critical short-term resistance, while Solana is now breaking out above critical short-term resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a quick update on the Bitcoin ETF news today, and just on Monday, we actually saw a decent net inflow of around $62.2 million US. And honestly, we didn't really see any massive inflows into any single Bitcoin ETF on Monday, but we did see a relatively small outflow from Grayscale, because keep in mind that average day for Grayscale so far has been an outflow of around $240 million US, whereas on Monday we saw only an outflow of around $35 million from Grayscale. And so with that reduced outflow from Grayscale, the reduced selling pressure from Grayscale, while still seeing some okay inflows into the other ETFs, once again, that gave us the net inflow at the end of Monday of around $62.2 million US. And in case you're new to all of this, net inflows is bullish and net outflows is bearish. So this net inflow right here is seen as bullish. This is buying pressure. But anyway, getting into the Bitcoin charts, this is on the 3-day time frame, and honestly, this chart right here has not really changed over the last one day. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last 1 to 2 videos here on the channel to find out more. And the same can really be said about this chart as well. Obviously, we're still within this larger bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs on the larger time frames. And of course, during a larger bullish trend, also known as a bull market, we can see short-term pullbacks from time to time, which is very normal to see. And so, as I always say, it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. Of course, on some time frames, here and there, in the short term, we can look a little bit more bearish, while still remaining very bullish on the larger time frames. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, of course, a few weeks ago back here, when the DXY was spiking to the upside, I was looking a little bit more bearish in the short term, talking about how we're most likely going to see a bit more bearish price action in the short term. But over the last half a week to nearly 1 week now, since basically this local low right down here, I've been talking about how the DXY is no longer spiking to the upside, and instead what we are now seeing is actually a bit of a pullback in this DXY. And so, as I've already been saying over the last half a week to 1 week or so, I've been saying that this is a potential bullish reversal signal for Bitcoin, because as we can clearly see on this chart, when the DXY is bearish, that is usually very bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And vice versa, if the DXY is bullish, that is often bearish, or at the very least neutral for Bitcoin and crypto. And so over the last 1 day, we've actually seen a continued pullback here in the DXY, which is good news for Bitcoin, because once again, if this pullback continues in the DXY, that is seen as a bullish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And so remember, on the larger time frames, we're still within a larger bullish trend when we're looking at the larger trend at play. But that larger bullish trend is made up of short-term bullish and short-term bearish trends here and there. And obviously, a few weeks ago, we did have a bit of a short-term bearish trend during the larger bullish trend. But as I've already been saying over the last half a week or so, it is looking likely we're about to reverse out of that short-term bearish trend into a new short-term bullish trend. Meanwhile, we're still within the larger bullish trend, as I've been saying this entire time. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as I've also been saying recently here on the channel, we're basically now seeing a breakout here in the daily Bitcoin RSI. And as of right now, based on this line of resistance right here, we've actually seen one daily candle close confirm, with the RSI trading above this descending line of resistance on the daily time frame. And if we're simply looking at the past few times where we have seen this signal confirm in the daily Bitcoin RSI, basically a breakout above these descending lines of resistance, essentially those were signals telling us that we are no longer in that pullback phase, we're no longer in that short-term bearish trend, and we're now about to see the next leg to the upside in the larger bullish trend, also known as the next short-term bullish trend. And so this is yet another short-term bullish reversal signal that I've already been sharing here on the channel over the last few days and has now technically confirmed with one confirmation, with one daily candle close with the RSI above this resistance. And in order to become more confident that we're really flipping much more bullish again in the short term, ideally if the RSI can actually form some higher highs and higher lows, that would be even better. That would be a sign of strength for Bitcoin in the short term. And if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin chart, over the last 1 day or so, we have now seen a breakout above this area of resistance, which was sitting in between around 65 to 66,000. And as of right now, we have already seen multiple candle closes on the 4-hour time frame confirm above this area of resistance. And at the time of recording this video, we're now actually seeing a retest and a possible bounce from this area of resistance, potentially about to confirm it as new support. And so obviously that is bullish price structure. Anytime where we confirm a previous resistance into new support, that is price structure heading in the bullish direction. And so if this is now acting as support, the next resistance to the upside to watch out for is sitting in between around 68 to 69,000. And above that, we have significant resistance at around 71,500 and this area of resistance at around 73 to 74,000. And technically speaking, this bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame is still currently active because we have not yet seen any bearish reversal here in the RSI or in the price, at least in the short term. As of right now, both the RSI and the price action on the 4-hour time frame are both forming higher lows and higher highs. And so as I've already been saying here on the channel over the last 1 week approximately, since all the way back down here, I've been saying we should be expecting most likely a bullish relief or at the very least a sideways consolidation as the most likely outcomes due to this bullish divergence now playing out. But obviously around these areas of resistance, those are the areas on the chart where the Bitcoin price is most likely going to struggle at. And we already saw that over the last few days or so. Just for a few days here, the price did indeed struggle at this area of resistance before eventually breaking out. And so just keep that in mind. These resistance areas are still potential levels where the price can struggle at in the short term. And if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin chart, at least as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is still technically forming a potential rising wedge pattern. And as of right now, this line of support is currently sitting at roughly around 66,000, and this line of resistance is currently sitting at roughly around 67,000 or just above 67,000. And now considering the fact that we have not yet confirmed a break either below support or above this resistance right here, technically this pattern is not in play. We do not have any price target in play for this pattern right here, at least as of recording this video. But let's just say if we see a confirmed break to the downside below this line of support right here, so below around 66,000, then in that case, that would set up a technical price target to the downside, which would be an initial price target for this pattern at around 62,000. But it's important to understand that right now, we potentially now have support in this region, considering we've just broken out above this area of resistance, which should now act as new support. And so even if we dip below 66,000, we could potentially still find support in between 65 to 66,000. Once again, this area right here. And so ultimately, we'll basically have to break below around $65,000 and ideally below this low right here at around 64,500, as I said in my last video, in order to actually confirm this bearish price target right here, which obviously as of right now has not happened. And so once again, at least for now, this potential bearish price target is not yet in play. It's not even a thing right now. It would only come into play if we see that confirmed bearish scenario with a confirmed break below this line right here. And when it comes to my personal Bitcoin trading strategy right now, as of right now, I am still longing the price of Bitcoin, as I've already been saying for a couple of weeks now here on the channel. Because first of all the way back around here, I already mentioned that I was starting to scale into a long position as the price dropped further to the downside. I was slowly scaling into a long position with buy orders to the downside, lowering my entry price. And as I mentioned on the channel right back here, I did take a small amount of profits off the table from that long position around this high right here. And as I mentioned in my last video, I also took a little bit of profits off the table from that specific long position right around here. And so as of right now, I have already taken some profits off the table for that leveraged long position. But as I also said in my last video, I still have some of that position remaining open. So I'm still longing the price of Bitcoin right now. And even if we see this break to the downside in the short term, even if that actually happens, I would not necessarily want to enter a short position due to reasons I'll mention in just a moment. But first, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I'm taking that Bitcoin long position over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comments. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position. And this free airdrop is only available if you actually use the link down below. So if you already have an existing Bybit account and you want to claim this airdrop, unfortunately, you won't be able to do that unless you, for example, close that Bybit account and open a new account using the link down below this video. But either way, if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using that link down below this video if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, even if we see a break to the downside, and as I also said in my last video, I would not necessarily want to enter a short position even if we see a break to the downside, because ultimately we're still overall more bullish than bearish. This is just one potential bearish scenario if we confirm a break below this support. But we have an overwhelming amount of bullish signals flashing on the chart right now that we need to pay attention to. And also, if we're looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map on the larger scale, we still have a massive amount of liquidity pulling the price of Bitcoin to the upside, first of all, at around 71,500, and much more liquidity, billions of dollars of liquidity sitting at around 73,000, which is basically acting as a magnet pulling the price of Bitcoin towards those higher levels. And on top of those levels of liquidity to the upside for the price of Bitcoin, we also have the funding rates sitting below neutral, with some funding rates still sitting in negative territory. And I've talked more about this in detail in previous videos here on the channel over the last few days. And so if you missed my last few videos, definitely check those videos out if you want to know more about the funding rates. But basically, when the funding rates are below neutral, usually that's not a very good sign to enter a short position or to flip much more bearish, even if we break to the downside below support. Because usually when the funding rates are negative or below neutral, that is a potential sign that a short squeeze could be coming, which means the price can go a lot higher. And once again, this is nothing new. I've already been talking about these below neutral funding rates for almost a week now on the channel, saying how this is yet another bullish factor here in the short term. And so ultimately, due to all of that, my trading strategy right now for Bitcoin is to simply remain long on Bitcoin. I'm still holding that long position. I've only taken a small amount of profits off the table around these highs. And as I also said in my last video, even if we see that break to the downside, which is a possibility, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but even if that actually happens, personally, I'll just use a potential pullback as an opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin or to enter a larger long position, because once again, we simply have an overwhelming amount of bullish signals flashing on the charts right now. But as always, that is not personal financial advice for you, because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just being transparent with my trading strategy right now. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is still running into this area of resistance, but we're getting closer to a potential breakout, because this short-term area of resistance is sitting in between around 3.2k to 3250, and technically speaking, this bullish divergence on the 8-hour time frame is still active. And so once again, as I've already been saying, since all the way back down here, we're most likely going to see either a bullish relief in the short term or at the very least a sideways consolidation. Basically, I'll no longer be expecting significant bearish price action in the short term due to this bullish divergence now playing out. And if we actually see a confirmed breakout with candle closes above 32.50, and ideally if we actually flip that area into new support, then in that case we could run up towards the next area of resistance sitting in between around 34.70 to 35.30, and the next significant resistance is at around 36.50. And so those would essentially be the next short-term price targets for the price of ETH if we first confirm a breakout above this resistance at around 32.50. And if we're taking a look at the 3-hour time frame, when it comes to this rising wedge pattern for the price of ETH in the short term, this has actually been invalidated over the last one day, because we initially saw a break below this line of support, and then we quickly saw a recovery and a breakout back above that same line right there. And so once again, that's an invalidation signal, basically invalidating this pattern right here. So as of right now, this pattern is no longer playing out at all. And so that's why I was already saying in my last video, even if we see a break to the downside, I would not necessarily want to enter a shorts position, because right now we're simply looking more bullish than bearish in the short term, even if we're breaking below this level of support. And so ultimately, we just need to focus on these areas of support and resistance on the chart, and also this bullish divergence, which is technically still actively playing out. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, what we are now seeing in the price of Solana, what we've seen over the last one day, is a confirmed breakout here on the 8-hour time frame above 155, which is bullish. Because first of all, $155 was the top side of this area of resistance right here, which we broke out above, and also at around 154 to 155, that was this descending line of resistance for the bump and run reversal pattern. And as I explained in my last video, a bump and run reversal pattern is a 3-stage bullish reversal pattern with the lead-in stage, the bump phase, and the run phase back to the upside, with the price target at the beginning of the lead-in phase at around $200 once we confirm the breakout, which technically has now happened over the last one day. And so at least based on this bump and run reversal pattern, we do now have a technical price target in play at around $200, but keep in mind we still have this area of resistance where the price could struggle at in between around 167 to 172. And of course, as I've also been saying here on the channel for around a week now, since all the way back down here, I've been saying this bullish divergence is still playing out. It is still active. So I would not be expecting a lot of bearish price action in the short term. And instead, we're likely going to see a bit of a bullish relief, which has been playing out exactly as expected. And not only is a breakout above 154 to 155 bullish due to this area of resistance and this descending line of resistance right here, we also have this Adam and Eve bullish reversal pattern now playing out. And this is something else that I've also been talking about over the last few days, because we've already formed the pattern. We were just waiting to see a confirmed breakout above around 154 to 155. And what we have now seen here on the 4-hour time frame is a confirmed breakout with candle closes above 154 to 155, and actually a retesting that level and now bouncing from that level, basically flipping previous resistance into new support, which is bullish price structure. That's another bullish confirmation signal of the breakout to the upside. And so essentially this will only invalidate, this price target would only invalidate if we now see a confirmed break with candle closes back below around 154. But for as long as the price can now hold above this level at 154 to 155, then we do have this technical price target in play at around 185 to 186. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, that was a potential 20% move all the way from the breakout to the price target, or from where we are right now as of recording this video to that price target, that's still a potential 17% move to the upside. And also, once again, we still have to remember that even if we have this price target in play, we still have this area of resistance above the current price where the price can still struggle at. But if you want to trade these moves in the price of Solana or any other crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.